Hello and welcome to my new web show, Green Gardening. I'm Geoff Wakeling and these are the London suburbs. I'm going to be looking at ways to save a bit of money. I'm also going to be looking at ways to reduce your household waste and recycle these things for the garden. And of course, I'm going to be doing a bit of gardening. I'm passionate about gardening. I've gardened all my life and in recent years become much more of a way of life than of a hobby. I hope that I can inspire a few of you to go out into the garden. I hope that I can share knowledge with others, and I also hope that I, as a gardener, can continue to learn and gain experience. So, on today's show, I'm going to be looking at saving money by propagating. I'm going to be looking at how to take Japanese maple cuttings, and I'm going to be looking at how to use two major household waste products and implement them in the garden. So with all that, I better get on with it. Every house in Britain has millions of these toilet rolls. We chuck them away, we put them into our dustbins and they sit in landfill sites rotting in plastic bags. But they're brilliant for the garden. They retain moisture and they're fantastic for growing on cuttings. Simply get a load of your toilet rolls and get something like this, like an old washing up bowl, and fill it with as many toilet rolls as you can. So just fill up as much as you can, cram them in. You want them as tightly packed as possible, just so that they retain the moisture and you can keep potting up cuttings to your heart's content. Now every family is going to have trillions of these, so why just make sure that they save as many as they can. You can even get them from your neighbours. Just plonk them in like this. So once you've filled up your washing up bowl with your toilet rolls, get a good multi-purpose compost, preferably without peat for ecologically sound issues, and just fill up your tubes as much as you can till it's completely covered across the surface. So once you've completely filled it with compost, you've got an individual base for all of your cuttings. For each tube you can dib in a cutting each. As soon as they've rooted, you can simply pull out your tube, pop it into where it's going to be situated in the ground or a bigger pot. You put a new toilet roll in, fill it, and you can just carry on that method for always. A little bit of water goes a long way, so it will always keep moist with a tiny bit of water just kept in the bottom. Use this idea, it's fantastic. If you're a pet owner like me, you eat a lot of canned foods, then your rubbish is going to be full with these tinned food. You don't need to throw these away. I mean, you can throw them into most recycling tips, but you can use them in the garden and they make ideal water containers for the greenhouse. For small pots such as these tuna ones, you can simply just pop the pot in. Or for larger tins, you're going to need a little bit of modification. So taking a knife and being very careful not to cut yourself, simply once you've got your two halves of your tinned food, you've got your bottom container, which is perfect for your greenhouse plants, and you've got a fantastic little ring of tin as well. Don't throw this away. This is perfect for when you're planting out seedlings into beds and borders. It will help protect them from any wind, from large splatterings of rain, and from, most importantly, slugs and snails. Now I haven't got room for a big greenhouse in my garden, so I use these tiny little mini greenhouses which are perfect for my needs. Simply take your tins, pop in your plants, and they make ideal sources, especially for these small edible plants. When times are particularly tight as they are today, there's no reason for the garden to suffer. We've just got to find other ways of making our gardens fantastic. Now one way is propagation. I've been admiring my auntie's maple for years and I decided it's about time I have a bit of it. I have asked permission, always make sure you do, don't just go and take homes of people's plants. But we're going to take some beautiful cuttings of this Japanese maple and try and get into roots. So what you want to find a nice long new stem without woody growth. This one's perfect, you can see the new growth here and here, unlike the old woody growth here. Find a leaf nodule like this and you want to do a slanted cut across. So once you've got your Japanese maple cuttings home, it's time to prepare them to actually put them into the compost. What you want to find is you want to find a 6-inch cutting. You don't want it longer than 8 inches as it will rot. Cut it the same as we did with the mother plant by taking an angled snip across the base of the leaf nodule, such as here. And then you want to take off every single leaf apart from the final 2. This aids the growth of putting out new roots rather than investing in chlorophyll leaves. So you end up with a cutting such as this. Now this is slightly long, so we'll just trim it down to size. There's a leaf nodule here, so just above, angular snip. And that is our seedling. It's a good idea to get a bit of root powder or liquid, simply placing in the soil. They will take, but they will take a lot longer than they will with the root powder. So using our device earlier, pop your cutting into the root powder. You can just fill up as many as you wish. So using the toilet roll idea, pop them in about 1 inch to 2 inches below the soil level, and carry on to your heart's delight. They should take about 8 weeks to root, so we'll look back at them in a couple of months and see if they've actually done their job. So, we've done our cuttings, we've done our recycling. Next time on Green Gardening we're going to be looking at the phenomenon of guerrilla gardening around London. We're going to be down on the allotment trying to tend some wayward vegetables, and we're going to be looking at how the phenomenon of keeping chickens is sweeping the nation. Till next time.